Alright, so I've been using these for a while now, the Cremacaffe stands, in specific the Kolibri and the Spike XL. I've been using these stands for over 3 months now. Then I stopped using them for a minute to kind of see what it was like making music without them. And now, as you can see, they're back on my desk and I'm ready to give you my honest impression. Let's dive in. What is up, guys? My name is DYVN. I'm a music producer and beatmaker from Berlin, and I hope you guys are ready to check out the Cremacaffe stands, the Kolibri and the Spike XL. Both these stands here have been sent to me for free to test them out, but I've not been paid to make this video, so whatever I'm saying here is my honest opinion. All of what I'm saying in this video is based on my experience using these for around 3 months on my regular workflow as a producer, which is making music almost every day. So, before I give you my impression, maybe a few words about the company who makes those, Cremacaffe or Cremacaffe, while I'm playing my unboxing video in the background. Cremacaffe is a 2-people enterprise based by the sea in Italy. They're the first and I think only company who make these synth stands that are usable in multiple angles and are supposed to help you with your posture. And I can testify already, it truly works for me. My posture is so much better when making beats, but we're gonna get into the details a little bit later. The coolest part, they're handcrafted. Let's review those. Coming to the smaller stand, the Kolibri. I've mostly been using this one to put my laptop on it, but to be honest, I don't use my laptop a lot with my screen. I usually close it and use an external screen for that, or I just don't use it at all because I just use my Maschine as a controller. But when I used it as a laptop stand, I really enjoyed it. I had my keyboard and my mouse connected to it. I did use it when I produced the song that I'm currently playing in the background for my side project, Over the Moon. It's me and my wife's side project, so we just grabbed the laptop and the Maschine and made some music in the living room. So for that, it was truly cool to have this. I've also put my SP404 on top of this and it fits like a glove. Look at this, like it's the size of an SP404. I don't know if it was made specifically for it, but it's SP404 size. If you're looking for a stand, this is it. Like, this is it. What I find really cool is what I've seen a couple of people do online. They use it basically reversed when they shoot a video. To basically put the SP404 like this. So when you shoot the video from below, you can still see the buttons and the knobs. So it's kind of like that, and you can, you know, twist the buttons and you can still see the device, which is super cool. But I usually use it this way, you know, turn around to me. And I put my Maschine jam on it, but to be honest, that felt a little wobbly, so it was kind of tilting to the sides like this, you know, so I ended up not using it for the Maschine jam. I guess it works since I don't, you know, I guess it works since I don't do a lot of like heavy finger drumming on it, but wasn't ideal. And I'm sure it wasn't designed for it either. And lastly, I've put my iPad on it like this. And that also fit really well. And that's also where it gets even a bit more interesting. You can actually take this little thing here, flip it around, and the stand goes vertical like that. So what you can do is put your iPad like this. And that I did use for a non-musical purpose. I mean, you can either just use it for reading and then you have just get a great stand for your iPad, or I used it for doing yoga on the mat, you know, and just had a great screen to look at. So that's pretty cool. I'm actually gonna use it right here to read my notes. Perfect. While I tested the Kolibri with all sorts of different gear, I used the Spike XL with pretty much exclusively my Maschine Plus, which is the standalone version of the Maschine controller with a built-in computer. It does, however, have the same footprint as the MK3 and pretty much a similar one as the MK2, MK1 Maschine Jam. It's very similar size-wise, which is what matters in this context. So, how was my experience finger drumming with the Spike XL? Pretty decent, I must say. Despite the super light weight of the stand, really it weighs actually nothing. Like, it's great for travel. So despite the light weight, it holds up pretty nicely against my hard hitting of the pads. I usually tend to hit the pads really hard when drumming, but it worked well. It only moved like maybe a millimeter, but mostly when I was hitting the upper pads. The reason it's not moving around a lot is because it has these tiny little plastic feet. They're basically in every corner of it. When you spend a lot of hours in the studio, you know, like grinding and looking at your Maschine or your Ableton Push or whatever, for me, it always results in two things: great music and back pain. So when I started using these stands, it really changed a lot for me in terms of the way I sat in front of the controller. And that alone to me is already worth using these. And again, I have no benefit in promoting these stands. I'm not being paid to make this video. I don't have an affiliate link or whatever. I'm just like trying to give you good insight into my experience using these so that you can make a good decision for yourself. So just to give you a quick impression, this is how I used to look when I make beats. Okay, maybe that's a little exaggerated, but you get the idea. And this is what it feels like with the Cremacaffe stand. I usually prefer this setup when I am recording on the pads, so when I am laying down some drums or some chords on the pads themselves. But there's also the second setup, the horizontal one, and that's great when you operate the upper part of the Maschine. And that same goes, of course, for any other controller, you know, that's somehow set up this in a similar way like the Maschine. So when browsing sounds or sampling external instruments, you get the idea. Anything that's more display focused and less focusing on the pads. So, in summation, the verdict. So, the build quality is great. There's no sharp edges or splinters waiting to get into your precious little beatmaker hands. It looks and feels fantastic. Like, it just looks great, you know? In my opinion, that's of course very subjective. The pricing, well, that's something I was first not sure about, but when I looked into wooden guitar stands, that is expensive. So when I saw the prices of even like bigger companies who sell you wooden stands, man, oh man, these are expensive. So when you look at the entire market of stands, and these are freaking handmade. So when factoring all that in, I think the pricing is totally fine. Especially considering this is such a unique design, both functionally and aesthetically. Speaking of build quality, it is super duper portable. Like I already mentioned the super lightweight, but now let me also show you how easy it is to fold it all together. And you've got like a super thin stand to carry around. It's 3 pieces, you can put that in a backpack or something. Same goes for the spike. It just unfolds like this. And it's super tiny and portable. You know, it's this size and this one for the Kolibri. It's also super easy to put back together. You just do this, put it like this, or turn this around if you want to have it in vertical mode. So, I mean, even IKEA is hard to put together compared to this. Now, since you're kindly watching till the end of the video, here's a pro tip. These holes here are meant for cable management. I know, right? Super dope. They thought of everything. Andrea, one of the 2 people at Cremacaffe, mentioned to me that he puts his external battery for the Digitakt in between the stand. Like that, the battery takes up less room and it keeps the aesthetics intact. Oh, and before we end this video, I also want to mention that the guys also sent me this SB404 Dust and Skin cover. I haven't put it on yet, but just to show you, there's a bunch of more cool stuff on their website, so definitely go check that out. So once again, thank you to Andrea and Eliza for sending these over. They're definitely gonna stay on my desk. Thanks to you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more beat making content. My name is DYVN and I wish you guys an excellent day. Peace.